We are continuing with our studying pedigrees. We had just finished putting our genotypes in there, and we're ready to take a look at the questions. So number 1 says, is individual 1 most likely homozygous dominant or heterozygous? And explain how you can tell. Individual number 1, we know that because individual number 1 here has offspring that are showing the recessive trait, then they had to have been able to give a recessive allele to those offspring. So they're showing the dominant trait, so we knew that they were big N, and we also now know that they're little n because they had to be able to give a little n to the offspring that are showing the recessive trait, because Dad gave one little n, and the other little n would have to have come from Mom. So let's write that in there. We can say individual number 1 is heterozygous. We know this because she had offspring who show the recessive trait those offspring have to have 2 recessive alleles. So one recessive allele had to come from Dad, and one had to come from Mom. Number 2 says, what is the genotype of individual number 3? Well, individual number 3 is right here, and it's showing the recessive trait, so it has to be little n, little n. Number 3 says, can you be sure of the genotypes of the effective siblings of individual number 3? Explain. Okay. Individual number 3, well, we cannot be sure. We do know that these 2 individuals are showing a dominant trait, so they have to have at least one big N. But because both parents have a big N and a little n, we don't know if this parent gave a big N and then this parent gave a big N, or if this parent gave a big N and this parent gave a little n, or if this parent gave a little n and that parent gave a big N. We don't know. All we know is that they got a big N from somebody. And if they got that big N from this parent, well, this parent had another big N they could give, or they could have given the little n that they have. So we have no way of knowing for sure the genotypes of those offspring. So can you be sure the genotypes of the effective individuals? And number 3, that answer is no, we cannot, because both parents have a big N to give and a little n to give. We know they have one big N, at least one big N because they show the trait but we do not know which allele the other parent gave. This one says your turn. It says draw a pedigree showing all of the individuals described in the problem. Include their names if given. Label the genotype of as many individuals in the pedigree as possible. Shading half of the symbol if you know that person is heterozygous or is a carrier. Okay, so you're going to look at these case studies. You're going to draw your own pedigree and fill it in as much as possible. And I will help you with number one and get started here. And then I'm going to leave the others for you to finish. So condition of interest here is albinism. Instead of being albino or not having melanin or skin pigmentation. So albinism is a condition in which there is a mutation in one of several possible genes, each of which helps to code for the protein melanin. This gene is normally active in cells called melanocytes, which are found in skin and eyes. Albinism involves a significant reduction or the absence of the production of melanin, giving affected individuals a lack of normal coloration in their skin and eyes. The inheritance pattern, it says that normal melanin protein is produced by an autosomal dominant allele, so albinism would be dominant. So we're going to use a big A for dominant albinism. It results from a lack of melanin and is caused by an autosomal, it says autosomal recessive trait. Let's see. Okay, normal melanin was autosomal dominant, that's the big A. Albinism is recessive, that's going to be our little a. So we have two normal pigmented parents who have 3 children. So we're going to start out with our normal pigmented parents. We can draw this in there. We have a mom who is not affected, and she is married to dad who is not affected. And that's what we know so far. And they had children. So this is the line connecting them to their children. And it says the first child is a girl. So your circles are girls. So our first child right here is going to be a girl. Second child is a boy. These squares are boys. And then third child is a girl. Circle. That's what we know so far. The first child is a girl and their second child is a boy, and they have normal pigmentation. So child 1 and child 2 are normal pigmentation. The third child is a girl and she has albinism. So we're going to color her circle in. There. Just color our circle in because she is affected. She has that trait of having albinism. That's supposed to be a circle. After I colored it, you know, it's an awful lot like a square. That's a circle because she's a girl. So, third child is a girl, and she has albinism. That girl marries a normal pigmented male, so she gets married. And there's her husband, who does not have the trait. And they're going to have 4 children. Husband's marriage. First 3 are 2 girls and a boy, and they have normal pigmentation. So the first one is a girl. I don't know if my circles keep looking like squares. First one's a girl. Nice round circle. Maybe it still ends up like a square. Yeah, that's supposed to be a circle because she's a girl. Second one was a girl. Another girl. Third one is a boy. And it says the 4th child is a girl who has albinism like her mother. So child number 4 is a girl. Another circle. And she has albinism, so we're going to color her circle in. Okay. So that's what we know so far. And it says it is an autosomal recessive. So the ones who have the trait, we know they would have to be little a, little a. This one would be little a, little a. And then one right here would have to be little a, little a. Okay. Dad right here is showing the dominant trait, so he has to have at least one big A, we know. But we know because this child has little a, Mom gave one of those little a's, but Dad also had to give a little a, so he would have to be big A, little a. And that's another one of those test crosses where some have the trait and some do not. So that's what that one looks like. All these siblings down here of that one, they showed the dominant trait, so they had a big A, but then Mom could only give a little a. So they're all going to be carriers. They're all going to have to be big A, little a. So move that. And we know both of these parents have a dominant allele, so they all have a big A. But we also know that this child of theirs got a little a from Mom and a little a from Dad because she has 2 little a's. So that means both parents had to be heterozygous carriers of the trait. So they would have to be big A from little a. These 2 also have the dominant trait, so we know that they have a big A. But we can't be sure if they're big A, little a, or big A, because they could have gotten the big A from this parent and a little a from that one, or they could have got a big A from this parent and a big A from that one. So all we know is one big A is all we know about those. And then the other one, it could be a big A or a little a. Okay? And there are 2 more case studies on here for you to do, and then there's some extra study there. There's a challenge problem. So go ahead and give the rest of those a try on your own. See what you've got, and we'll move on to the next thing. Give those a try.